Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for June 6, 2020, from Judges chapter 7. You could say this is Gideon, part 3. Yesterday we left Gideon and 300 men blowing trumpets and breaking a jar in which their enemy, Midian, went running away. Let's pick it up with verse 24. Gideon then sent messengers throughout all the hill country of Ephraim, saying, "Come down against the Midianites and capture the waters against them as far as Beth Parah and also the Jordan." So all the men of Ephraim were called out, and they captured the waters as far as Beth Parah and also the Jordan. Midian was defeated. Everything is good, right? Well, not quite. Chapter 8, verse 1. Then the men of Ephraim said to him, "What is this that you have done to us? Not to call us when you went to fight against Midian?" And they accused him fiercely. There will always be someone who will disagree with you. You may remember that God told Gideon to decrease the number of men so that it would be obvious that this was God's victory. The men of Ephraim were sent home, and they couldn't declare that it was their victory, so they verbally attacked Gideon. But Gideon's response was wonderful. Verse 2, he said to them, "What have I done now in comparison with you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the grape harvest of Abiezer? God has given into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb, and Zeb. What have I been able to do in comparison with you?" Then their anger against him was subdued when he said this. Gideon clearly stated that God was giving the enemy into their hands, and Gideon also emphasized their hands, just by deflecting the anger a little bit. But again, it was still God's doing. Whenever you're a leader, people will always complain about you. Verse 8, and Gideon came to the Jordan and crossed over, he and the 300 men who were with him, exhausted yet pursuing. So he said to the men of Succoth, "Please give loaves of bread to the people who follow me, for they are exhausted, and I am pursuing after Zebra and Zumman, the kings of Midian." Remember, even 300 men still need to eat. Their response? And the officials of Succoth said, "Are the hands of Zebra and Zalmunna already in your hands, that we should give bread to your army?" Wow! They wanted the army already defeated before they were going to reward this army, before they reward the men of Gideon. So Gideon went to another place and received the identical response. Gideon left both places with threats when he returned. Gideon did return after the defeat of Zebra and Zalmunna. Both were destroyed. What would Gideon do to Succoth and Peniel, who denied him and his men bread, even though Gideon was doing the work of God as God directed and was protecting their country and protecting them? Gideon destroyed both places. We need to realize that God calls sinners. That means people like you and me. Gideon wasn't perfect. Did he let his vengeance get in the way and get the best of him, so to speak? The answer was yes. And like the cliche, two wrongs do not make a right. So would God zap Gideon for this public sin? No. Just like God doesn't zap us for our public sins, but God forgives us when we sin, all because of Jesus Christ. So God would forgive Gideon, a man of God, even after the great sin of vengeance. Was Gideon still considered a man of God even after this great sin of vengeance? See what happens next. Verse 22. Then the men of Israel said to Gideon, "Rule over us, you and your son and your grandson also, for you have saved us from the hand of Midian." Gideon's response could only be a response of a true man of God. Verse 23, Gideon said to them, I will not rule over you, and my son will not rule over you. The Lord will rule over you. Wow. We need to remember everyone makes mistakes, including pastors and other leaders everywhere. But through Christ Jesus, there is forgiveness. But Gideon still remained faithful to God, even though Gideon was also a sinner. Join me again tomorrow as we hear about Abimelech. God's peace and many blessings be with you. Thank you for watching, and please share this video with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for watching.